Welcome back to the Let's Talk Social Nation pod, everybody. Hope that you've had an amazing start to your week. I'm your host, Ian Kahende, and for this first episode, I have a very exciting guest for you right here, Emaad Khan. Tell him what's up, bro.
Hi, guys. I'm Emaad. How are you?
Oh, we chilling, bro. We chilling.
That was good music. That was good music in the start. I like
Hey,
that.
man, I just found on
I was
YouTube. I don't
vibing
got
with
much
that.
to say about it. I don't got much
I
to
was
say
vibing
about
with that.
it.
I like that. I like that.
But anyways,
Excited
guys.
to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah?
Let's see. I'm
Emaad,
excited.
he's the founder of the Spread the Love Project.
Yeah.
You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah. So around 3 years ago, I think it was freshman year, I had this idea. I was coming out of high school, and I was never the most ambitious person when it comes to academics and such. So I was just going to college because I was like, all right, it's my it was just like my family wanted me to go, and I didn't ever think anything of it. I didn't think oh, I could do something outside of this. I was like, all right, let's just do this. Let's just go into it. So then whenever I got to college, it was COVID, and I was at Johnstown at the Pitt Johnstown campus. Applied to 2 places, Duquesne and Pitt Johnstown, because my friend Dalton, who actually works for us now, his mom took us there for a tour, and I just wanted to get out of school. So I was like, let's go. So yeah, that was neat. That was awesome. We did that. And then I went to Johnstown, but it was right during mid-COVID. And it was 5 months after COVID had started. Johnstown was one of the only campuses in the country that was open with so many restrictions, which obviously so I went there, and there was not necessarily anything to do. All there was to do was just focus on your school, on your studies. That was it. So I kind of just decided to do that because it was the only option I had. We couldn't even go out and eat with friends or anything like that. It was take your food back home into your dorm. Yeah, it was
with
tough.
those boxes.
With the boxes, yeah, you can't. Yeah, it was bad.
See, I'm gonna tell you that this is why I'm glad, because I'm class of 2025. So I came in right when COVID was ending, so it's clutch for me.
Yeah, that's when I came to the main campus. But I was in Johnstown for a while, and all I had time to do was school. And I got real ambitious about school. I got so addicted to it, just learning about biology and chemicals, chemical sciences and everything. I loved it. I fell in love with it. My friend Jesse Kaufman, he got me into being an EMT back home in Monroeville, which is right near here, very close. So I started working there, not even working, just volunteering.
Which hospital?
It's a EMT fire station. So you work with the fire station, they have ambulances, and then they go out from there to the patients and then transport them to the hospitals.
See, I don't know too much about EMT stuff. All I know is Station 19. I don't know
Station 19. Yeah, what you see in Station 19, it's exaggerated version of it, but it's there.
You got no Beckett's on your squad?
Nah, no Beckett's. I like that show. That's a good show.
It's a good show. My girlfriend's been watching it the whole time.
Yeah, so. Yeah. But so Spread the Love Projects, I started working as an EMT, and I just was so intrigued by the entire concept of it. And I was riding along, and at this point, I was in my freshman year. I was very intrigued with my studies, everything I was learning at school. The education was great. I absolutely loved every single part of it. It was virtual, but I loved it. I don't know what it was about it. I loved it. So I was one day volunteering, and then I noticed all of a sudden that we're on the ambulance and we're on a call. I believe it was a car accident, and one of the patients was very reluctant to receive patient care. So I've seen this with patients. I've seen this with patients and their children, where they're very reluctant to receive that care on scene or be transported to the hospital because they were so worried about the cost of it. That's the first time it opened my eyes. I don't know what. I guess I just never fully understood it, the concept of it. But yes, that definitely opened my eyes to it. So that's kind of when I first initially had the idea. I was like, somebody's got to do something. This is ridiculous. The costs to ride an ambulance and things of that such is crazy. So I sat on the idea for a couple months at that point, and I remember maybe it was winter break, maybe a little bit after. I shared it with a couple of friends, my roommate back at that time, who's also in the organization. I brought together the Avengers.
The Avengers.
Yeah, of my life. But so we started working towards, all right, how can I do this? So I say for the large part of 2 years, it was just me. It was just me working towards it. My dad, he's a business owner. So he has an accountant and attorneys and stuff. So he put me in contact with the right people. Nobody took me seriously.
Of course.
Nobody took me
You're the
seriously.
young stunner coming on the scene. No one
I
gonna
didn't
take
have
you
this
like that.
beard. I didn't have this
Exact. The
beard.
beard, it adds
Hold
a whole
on.
element to you, bro.
Look at this.
Oh, can you get that up to the camera?
Zoom
Beard.
in on that. Yeah, I had none of that. So started this organization. I was super excited about it. I believe I filled out the paperwork. So now I found like an online, like, is it a law firm? I'm not completely sure, but it's called Legal Zoom.
Mm,
Awesome company. I worked with them to launch the organization. After I got that going, I was like, okay, now like we have to make something of this. Like it's just me. Like I need help. 6 months later, it was the summer, last summer, so summer of 22, and I was particularly going through like a very rough
mm.
patch in my life, and it was just like dark days for so many days. You know, it sucked, but I think those days helped me come closer to my religion, everything I believe in, everything I love. But then I was like, I got to do this. Like, I have something to prove to myself. Like, I've had this idea. This organization is made. It was done being made. I was like, now I have to like put in the work to launch this and everything like that. So decided to launch the organization. Overall, Spread the Love Project focuses on helping children and their families that are struggling with pediatric medical expenses.
Mm.
And we not only just work to that simple mission, but we also want to make sure that we're preventing the families from getting to this point, from getting to the point of having to pay medical bills they can't afford. So we put a lot of focus on community education as well as preventative care measures. And there's, oh, my bad. So community education and preventative care measures that we put so much emphasis on. We're working with that right now. That's how the organization just came to be. A couple years, just thinking about it. A lot of setbacks. We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll
But yeah,
definitely get into
ultimately,
that.
Spread the Love Projects helps families struggling with pediatric medical expenses, and we're working hard every single day to make our mission come to life.
Hey, man, it's a beautiful thing to see because I think we've all been in the place where something is wrong or we think something could be wrong, but we're completely scared off
Mm-hmm.
by medical expenses, insurance, and everything that comes with it. So you being able to help people, especially children who are at risk, is really a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, it certainly touches home for me. My family immigrated from here in 2010 from Pakistan.
Mm,
My dad was here, so our entire childhood, my dad would come to Pakistan for 3 months and come back here for 3 months
yeah,
because he was trying to, get everything ready and prepared for us to come down.
yeah.
And I think when we moved here, I didn't entirely realize that we didn't have health insurance. We would have
Mhm,
periods of no health insurance, but then we would have health insurance, no health insurance. We never had a pediatrician or anything.
mm.
I think after I turned 18, I put it upon myself. I was like, I have to get some. Like, I'm so into this field now. I'm getting so hooked on medicine and the value of medicine, preventative care measures, and going to the doctor before something bad happens to prevent something bad. I'm so incredibly passionate about that.
I mean, like, part of that is just like the system that we're in. We have to focus on preventive care because we're so scared of ending up in the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it sucks. It's very tough. It's a problem that I'm trying to tackle every single day. I'm applying to medical schools right now. I'm working on becoming a physician, and that's one of my main priorities. I think there needs to be a lot more preventative care measures that need to take place to avoid these families from getting to the point wherever they have such a severe amount of financial instability. And then I think a large part of that problem also just comes from healthcare equity gaps.
Mhm.
The fact that someone of a certain color of skin might go into hospital with the exact same condition as another
And
party and
not be
get
treated the same.
no. And that's so prevalent. That is it happens so much
Mhm.
all the time. It sucks.
My
It's very tough.
girlfriend, she's an EMT actually right
Yeah.
now. And one of the things she always focuses on is Black women in the healthcare system and how the maternal deaths are 5 times that of any other group.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy how doctors, everyone that's involved will let their own innate biases get in the way of providing great care.
Yeah, and it's not even deliberate at times. There's so many factors that contribute into it. I've looked at it into it at a great extent. There's many great studies out there that talk about that, and it's just unfortunate. I think at the end of the day, it's just unfortunate. There is obviously physicians that do deliberately, but there also is this innate bias, I think, in society that's just heartbreaking. You know,
Mhm.
I think we see that a lot with obesity.
Mhm.
Physicians deal with that a lot with obesity. Patients deal with that a lot with obesity, where people who are overweight are just seen differently. You
Exactly.
know, and do I think that those physicians come from a place of ill intent? I don't think they do.
There's sometimes taught just to look at people who have different body compositions differently.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
it's absolutely heartbreaking.
uh,
Absolutely heartbreaking.
so let's get into more of the approach and your methodology into how you've helped grow the Spread the Love brand. You get into that.
Yeah. So when we initially started, we had nothing. It was just
Mhm.
me, right? So I
Y-
think this was.
I feel like your dad, how hardworking he was, like you said, going
Mhm,
back and forth from Pakistan. I feel like you
mhm.
got that gene from him. You got that
I
dog
had
in
to.
you.
I, I think my mom and my dad provided me everything in this life to put me in a spot to be where I am at today, and hopefully where I go in the future and like my career as a physician. I give them everything. I test everything to them. My mom was always such a giver. Like we had no money and she was such a giver. Like we in Islam, I'm Muslim. In Islam, there's this
Mhm.
thing called sadaqah. It's just setting aside money for the needy, right? It's very common. Man, this my mom would just all the time just set money aside, give it when we didn't have money. I'm like, Mom, why are you doing this? But there's a saying, it's a beautiful saying that like money given, I'm translating it right now. So, but it's any money given to individuals or any money given from your pocket to the more needy or the less fortunate is never money lost. It's always
Mhm.
wealth gained. You
Mhm.
might not see the wealth return today, tomorrow. It might take 10 years, but the wealth is always gained back. So giving money, donating funds, helping others who are less fortunate, giving parts of yourself to people who are less fortunate, you don't lose any wealth in that. And I think that's a beautiful lesson of Islam that I resonate with. So yeah, my mom was a large part of it. My dad's work ethic, him as a business owner, seeing him struggle, seeing him make something out of. I mean, he came to this country at I think like in 1980,
Wow.
with nothing, no parents, no nothing. Both of his parents passed when he was very very young. He came with nothing, and he made something out of his life.
May I ask what business?
Huh?
What business?
So he has like a real estate and then also like convenience stores. Like imagine a small grocery store.
That's some crazy hustle, man.
Yeah, from nothing. Him and his friends used to all living in a 10-person house and stuff. So just that stuff that really got me motivated into it. So then whenever we got to the nonprofit part, that obviously started to reflect. And I was like, I would wake up at 6 a.m., work till 12 p.m. It was me every single day, just grinding, grinding, grinding. I don't know what in my head. I think this journey has been one of so many lessons.
Mm.
And I've never learned more about myself than I have through this organization.
Mm.
Just when it comes to being a leader, an individual, empathizing with others, and then like the obvious things that you'd see, as well as like the technicalities of
All right,
business.
so hear me out.
What's up?
Give us the top 3 lessons that you've learned through the Spread the Love project, things that
Okay.
people can take from this and apply to their own lives.
Okay.
I know I'm putting you on the
All right. I
spot.
got one. I got one. This is probably one of the biggest ones in life. You could do every single thing perfectly. You could, and I'm not claiming that this is what I'm doing or this is who I am, but in life, this is just in general. In life, you can do every single thing perfectly. You can be the most perfect human being. You can have the best intentions. You can work your butt off to do the largest, greatest things and help everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to make everyone happy.
Mm-hmm.
There will always be individuals who are there to say negative things. Bad things will always happen. There's always people who say bad things. There are always people who judge, and sometimes it's worse when they don't have anything to judge off of because they just make things
Some
up.
people are just born to be haters.
Yes. So I think at the end of the day, just the fact that looking at someone and judging them, that's when you see that happen to you, when you see that judgment come upon you, just be the bigger person. Don't say anything back. Just be the bigger person because whatever is being said is coming from it's not something that's wrong with you necessarily. It
It's
might be,
something wrong with them.
yes, but you can't go and be like, hey, this is what's wrong with you,
Mhm.
So I think the largest lesson I've learned from this journey is do what makes you happy. Participate in what makes you happy. Don't care about what X, Y, and Z is going to think of it. Don't care about I have to prove this to this person. I have to prove this to this person. I have to prove this to this person. That's a world I got caught up in my mind for a couple months. And then you just eventually realize if you're happy and you know your intentions and you know your goals and you have your ambitions and you know what you're doing, it does not matter what anyone thinks.
You're going to get where you want to go.
You're going to get where you want to go.
That's some wisdom, man.
And I think the second thing would go off of that. Just the clear fact that anyone can do anything in this world. Like, genuinely, anyone can do anything. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, what language you speak. If you have it inside of you and you have this passion and you want to pursue it, there's nothing in this world that could stop you. I'm a kid I wasn't born here. I came here without barely knowing the language.
Mhm.
Took English classes in Pakistan, which is not the same as English
And now
classes
look
here.
at you. You dripped out.
It's the Suns. I love the Suns. But there's nothing in this world that can stop your ambition. Like, I don't care what you have to tell it to yourself. I don't care what you're saying. We're so grateful to live a life filled with people who love us, who care for us. And then some people don't even have that, And I think that's so sad and it's so unfortunate. And I just hope everyone eventually finds the peace in their heart to be in a good place. But yeah, there's nothing in this world that can stop you from getting what you want. Are you gonna have to make sacrifices? Yeah.
You got to work harder.
You know how many? So the way I tell my brother this, right? He's sitting here, so he's starting his freshman year. The way I tell my brother this: think of a normal bell curve. You have your bell curve, and most of the individuals fall between the middle two standard deviations of the bell curve. Now, then you have your extremes to the right, wherever you have your high achievers, and then you have your extremes to the left. And I simply put it like this for him. If you want to do something or be someone that's not in that middle two standard deviation, if you want to be at the far right, then you have to be doing what no one else is doing. You have to be what other people aren't doing. You can't have the fear of missing out. You can't have, this idea that, if I want to do something, I have to go do something. You know how many nights I've sat in my apartment, Saturday, I think in all of college, maybe 2 weekends I've ever had, wherever I actually did not do work and study. My entire college career, I've sat in my apartment and I've grinded. I've worked. I've heard people having fun outside. My brother talks about now how whenever he's in his dorm, he hears people having fun outside and all. It's hard. It has a mental toll. It takes a large, large, large mental toll on you. But I think when you can tell yourself that you need to do this, there's a reason you're doing this. You love this. There's passion behind the mission. It's not just, I got to do this. I know why I'm doing this. I know my passions. I know who I want to help. I know how I want to change the world. I know that I want to become a physician. So behind everything I do, there's passion. And that passion will take you so far. Because just the confidence in the first couple of weeks of starting something, doing something, that can't take you that far. That'll get you started, but it's the overall ambition and your true intentions that will take you a lot farther. So yeah, I think overall, the second lesson from that would be, it does not matter what your background is. It does not matter where you come from, who you are. You can accomplish absolutely anything in this world. Don't ever let anyone tell you can't. There was lawyers who told me I couldn't. There's accountants that told me I couldn't. My parents didn't even believe in me. My peers didn't believe in me. People laughed in my face when I told them about this project and this idea. And then to get to a point wherever we're launching our organization and I'm cold calling UPMC billing services, pretending like I'm paying a bill and being like, hey, can someone please partner with me? Because that's how that relationship started. So Spread the Love Project works directly with UPMC as well to allocate the funds that we raise, UPMC Children's Hospital. And how that relationship started was I contacted my peers at the station, at my EMT, like where I work, the fire station. Volunteer, I'm sorry. I think I like to say works. I'm utilizing my time better, but no, I don't work there. So I contacted them and I was like, hey, like, this was before we launched. I was like, hey, does anyone have any sources that I could have to UPMC? I just want to like, I want a credible place, a credible institution to give funds to.
Mm.
That's what I asked him. One of the good guys there, Gino, he was like, yeah, I'll put you in touch with someone. And those guys work very hard and they have very busy lives. And I remember the next morning I woke up and I'm so impatient in that term. Like I was so impatient. I was like, Gino's probably busy, Gino's probably just hadn't gotten a chance to talk about it. It was like 9 a.m. I was drinking my coffee, get these like really crazy motivation spurts when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning, that I can do anything. I'm drinking my coffee and I'm like in my pajamas, in my bed. I'm like, I can do anything.
It's
right?
that caffeine, man.
Yeah, it's that caffeine. I'm like, I can do anything. So I decide I'm going to call UPMC billing at Children's. So I call UPMC billing at Children's and I'm like, hey, I don't have to pay a bill, but I need to talk to someone about this organization I'm started, and I want to help people, and I want to use you guys as a credible source to help these individuals. They'd give me a number to call. So it's just working up this ladder of different numbers to call. I didn't have any connections. My parents aren't deep within like the education institution.
They're immigrants, man.
Yeah, they're immigrants. They're pure immigrants. And I'm the oldest son in the family, so it was just me. So I'm like, I keep talking to people, and then I get to this individual named Richard Burrows. He's a great guy, great individual, and he's talking to me. And this was a Friday, and he was like, "All right, Emaad, let's do this. Get your send me an email. This is my email. Send me an email with all your information, what you're trying to do, what you're looking out of us what you're looking for out of us, and I will forward this to my CFO and legal, and UPMC CFO and legal, and I will get you an answer back." I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way. Me calling billing services made this into a reality. I absolutely could not believe it.
It's that grind, man. You can't take no for an answer.
No, I refuse to take no for an answer. I refuse to take no for an answer. I refuse to take hate for an answer. It just drives me. It drives everything inside of me. But I call Richard Burrows. That was awesome. And then all weekend, I made the best email of my life. I probably spent 7 hours on this email. Wrote the best email of my life with the help of my friend Jake and his sister. They helped me. And we pressed send. We scheduled send the email at 8 a.m. Sent it. It's Monday, no response. Tuesday, no response. Wednesday, no response.
There's some busy people, man.
Thursday, oh yeah. But in my head, I'm like, it was worth it. We had nothing to lose. It was worth a shot. Friday, I'm showering. I believe my friend Aral has a video of me, because he was staying over at my house at that point. And I'm showering, and I get out of the shower, and there's a missed call on my phone from a number I don't recognize. And I'm like, okay. I think this is the bank calling me to pick up my debit card. So I'm like standing there in my towel, and I call it back. And it started the relationship that I started from this call was like one of the best relationships I'll probably have in my life with, just in terms of Spread the Love projects. But I pick up the phone, and she's like, "Hi, this is Alana Kalesa from UPMC Children's Hospital. I'm the senior director of corporate and foundation relations. I heard about your message, and how would you love to partner with us?" And I was like, "What?" I couldn't believe it. I think in the moment I was so just shocked and so like taken back that she saw our vision and she saw what we stood for before we even got into it. It's someone who believed in me. Nobody believed in me. She believed in me before we even had anything to show her. She believed in me. She had never even met me. That, I hope everyone who has ambitions in their life finds that one person who believes in me.
Everyone needs that big break.
Yeah, because she changed my life. And I don't even think she realized to the extent that she helped me and helped Spread the Love projects overall. But she's an incredible human being. And I was literally, I sent her an email today. She's awesome. But so she talked to me, and she says, "These are like our couple sectors that we work with. How would you like to get into this?" And I was like, "Yes, like, of course." She's like, "Let me know when you have a donation ready, and we'll see how we can make the best impact possible with it." And I was like, "Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do this." I was like, "Now this is where the hard work starts. Like, let's go. We have something to prove to someone who believes in us, never fight to prove things to the haters. Always fight to prove things to the people that believe in me." And Alana Kalesa, she absolutely believed in me. So we made, I think a month and a half later or so, I was like, "Alana, I have a donation ready for you. I have $5,000 donation ready. Let's make the biggest impact that we can with this. And she's like, let's do this. So we got the donation over to the Children's Hospital Foundation, and she met with me, and she invited me to the Children's Hospital and gave me a tour and introduced me to someone named Anne Marie Cachera. Incredible person as well. She's helped us so much. So now we work Spread the Love Projects works directly with the Children's Hospital Foundation to help to fulfill community health needs, whether it's like families that need transportation to the hospital, or refrigerators for their medications, help paying rent. Yeah, they're such a help. They help me in so many endeavors in terms of when I host our events, or we need resources for social media or contacts to help us with everything. She's awesome. Anne Marie's awesome. Alana's awesome. She introduced me to Dr. Sylvia. Dr. Sylvia's awesome. Yeah, I think overall, just there's nothing that you can do anything. That's my entire point from this. There's nothing that can stop you if you have that like grind inside of you to just do it.
I think it's beautiful how just one person, one interaction can really change somebody's life.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing really just like put the wind back in your sails, got everything moving.
Yeah. It motivated the life out of me. None of us thought it was going to happen. It motivated the life out of me.
I think it's funny how that works, how it's like hard work and grinding your butt off ends up making you get into more hard work and more grinding because you got to get where you want to go.
I always say like I have like a million things, right? I have like 3 different planners of things that I'm like managing and trying to figure out and do at the same time. When I finish one task, I'm used to school. You have an assignment, you finish that assignment, you're done. In the business world, that's not how it works. You finish one assignment, 3 other assignments come out of it. Just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. But yeah, at the end of the day, I have days where I don't have, I have days wherever I'm not motivated. I have days where I'm down. But why doesn't the organization just shut down then? Because I still have the passion. I still know why I'm doing that. I still have the passion. And I think those days that you aren't motivated, that you are down, that's the days you turn that part of your brain on. That's like, I think that's truly what motivation actually is. You don't use motivation for when everything's good. When you want to do something, you don't use motivation. What are you going to use motivation for then? But it's those moments when you're like, I don't want to walk into that gym right now.
That's when you tap in what you didn't even have.
Yeah. That's opportunity. You can sit there and think all about, I want to be motivated. I want to grind. Those little examples set the pace for everything else in your life, Yeah.
Man, that's some wisdom. But we did say 3 lessons. You only dropped this 2. Get us that last one.
All right. Let me think about the last one real fast. Let me come back to the last one. When I keep talking, we'll close with the last one.
How about, yeah. So we'll get to the last one after we take this short break for our artist spotlight. So I want y'all to enjoy some music, Introspection by Sammy Rizek.
Time, cause it's always on my mind. Had to snap out, started thinking about my ground. How to get here, baby, but we know, yeah. Yeah, we know, yeah.
Hope y'all enjoyed that snippet from Inspiration by Sammy Rizek. You can find more of his music in the link down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be in the episode description on every other platform. But let's get back to the conversation with Emaad. So, man, we've been talking about Spread the Love. We've been talking about your upbringing and everything, but more about Spread the Love. What are your future plans? Where are you guys going to take this?
Yeah, so we have thoroughly enjoyed working with UPMC and just building that base in terms of credibility and integrity and just learning how to do this. You know, you need help in the start to learn how to do everything. So we will continue to work with them. One thing I like to emphasize is that 100% of our donations go towards our cause. You know, there's no one getting paid, there's no one on payroll, none of that stuff. Especially because we are such a small organization, every dollar should be invested.
I feel like keeping money out of it helps you like really think about the people you're helping too.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I'll never take a penny out of it ever. If it has to grow to a point where it requires a full-time staff, like that has to be someone's livelihood to run it. That's an honor to get an organization and a nonprofit to that point. But we're gonna keep grinding right now. I'm building my team. I'm gonna continue to build my team. I have some loyal individuals who work with me. Just I can't ever thank them enough for the work they do. They make this process. I always tell them they make my dreams come true. So I'm forever in debt to them because they made my dreams come true. In terms of the future plans, we just launched this thing called the CARE program. Stands for Children's Access to Resources and Equality. And what the CARE program is run specifically by us. And what the CARE program is focusing on is helping local communities, working with local community partners, directly helping local communities and schools in terms of providing backpacks, first aid kits, hygiene kits, to create that sense of preventative medicine, create that sense of a direct impact. You know, when I started this, my biggest goal was there's this feeling about helping someone and seeing the smile on their face that just fills you up inside. Like there's nothing that feels greater than helping someone and them appreciating it and seeing the smile on their face. It's the most fulfilling thing in the world. That was my mission. I want to see that firsthand. You know, I want to see that in front of me. I want to be the one going and doing that. So I think that's where this care program comes from. CARE program, we're going to be helping as many individuals as we possibly can. We're going to be working with local school partners and such to make the largest impact that we possibly can, especially just helping underserved communities, refugee communities, local communities, refugee communities, underserved communities. That's where our focus is at. That's the near future. That's what we've just launched now.
What does expansion of the project look like?
Yeah, so especially as I go on to, inshallah, become a physician, I'm excited to use my resources and use my connections and myself to grow this project into different countries. I want to go help in Pakistan, in Iraq, Middle East, Africa. I want to go help these communities. I want to spread the message, spread the love about the importance of preventative care. I want to make an impact, provide these resources that we're providing here, but on a global level. That's where the future of this organization goes. And I have no doubt we'll get there.
Do you know how you're going to do it yet?
In terms of the logistics of it, there's a lot of legalities that go into it, a lot of paperwork, right?
Yeah.
So that's
we love paperwork.
Yeah. There's a lot of paperwork that goes into it. But there's also a lot of funding that goes into it. You know, we're excited to build our base of donors that we're consistently building. You know, we had a phenomenal first year. And we're on track to do double, triple those numbers in the next year. So we're going to keep building our base because I think the worst thing that we could do is get too excited and jump at something too fast. That's when everything crumbles. It is one thing to have the confidence and the ambition, but you got to have the discipline. If you don't have the discipline to take it slow, to be mindful, and trust me, anyone I work with, I do not take it slow. I need to slow down. I 100% need to slow down. So one by one, we have great individuals, we have great partners and networks in these countries where we're trying to go and we're trying to help. And that's going to be our first avenue of going and making an impact in those countries. But definitely, I'm from Pakistan. I want to go help individuals in Pakistan. And then also places like Turkey, Iraq, Jordan. Those are places we have good connections in. I'm just so excited to go do that.
I'm glad to see we got big dreams for the future.
We got big dreams. Well, they'll happen. I'm telling you.
I know. Your go-getter attitude.
I think this. One thing that, so you know how I was telling you, just in facts of, you know, individuals say so much and it's so heartbreaking in so many manners. But I think sometimes my intentions behind this organization are questioned. And that breaks my heart. So I think I am just excited to show that I'm here to stay. Like, I'm not going anywhere. This is not I did this year and I'm gone next year.
Mhm.
It is not. I had a great conversation with Pitt about turning this into a club. They wanted me to turn it into a club and to use like the campus facilities and things like that. I just can't. Like, I need to carry this on with myself as I become a physician. This needs to be a part of my life forever, and this needs to be my legacy to my children and my family and their children, that this is what we created and this is what we're going to keep working towards forever.
So I got a question for you.
What's up?
What do you say to anybody who tells you that you're doing this for clout?
Oh, for cloud?
Yeah.
Keep talking. I love it. I love it. When I was talking to our photographer the other day and I was telling him about this, there's so many things that people say, not just in terms of this, but just in terms of my intentions with, like, people be like, oh, he wants to get in medical school, so he's doing that. 3 years ago when I had this idea, I sat with my counselor, okay? She knew I was on the pre-med track. This is what I was trying to do. And I was like, I want to create this nonprofit organization. She looked at me and straight up, she goes, if you're doing this because you want to get into medical school, I'm telling you, this is not the smart idea, because you're much better off joining an organization and working up in that organization rather than trying to build something from scratch. It's going to be way harder to prove yourself and way harder to have the motivation, work ethic to grow that and continue to grow that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that for a little bit and I was like, what truly are my intentions? I think it's a great question for someone to ask themselves. And then I just thought back on my life, like me and my friend Erman and Aral, since we were little kids, like on Christmas, I don't even celebrate Christmas. On Christmas Eve, we would go and we would buy like 200 pizzas and just give them out to the homeless people.
That's beautiful, man.
It's just, that passion has always been within us. One of my friends, we'd go to Denny's like 3 a.m. and one of the waiters, like, she's the kindest waiter ever, like, helping us in every moment. We'd go, and that second we'd go to a 24-hour ATM, take out $100 and give it her as tips. It's just like those little things, like, this is inside. I know this is like inside. This is my passion. I say this is my healthy way of dealing with my people-pleasing problem. Because when I was in high school, I had just this, I don't know, like, I didn't want to upset anyone. I wanted everyone to, like, I wanted to be there for everyone. Even if that meant I had to give parts of myself to be there for people, even if that parts of myself were like my dignity, like, what I mean? Just like things I value. I wanted to help anyone. I would take any time out of my day to help anyone I could. And it was a problem. You know how bad you get run over when you do that type of stuff? It's bad. And that's exactly what was happening. So I think this took out that void out of my life. Like, this took out that feeling that I need to constantly be helping people. I know what I'm doing, There's nothing better than the feeling you feel at the end of the day when you're going to bed. I can never stop doing this project because of the feeling I feel right before bed. When I'm going to sleep every single night, there's this feeling deep in your chest that you did something good, that you can go to bed in peace because you're working towards something good and you did something good today, even if you have to look at that in the most micro aspect.
When one of us is winning, we're all winning.
Exactly.
So I feel like this is a good segue, talking about your people-pleasing problem and all that. It's a good segue into the main topic of today's podcast, which is the link between mental health and immigrant families. It's funny you talk about your people-pleasing problem, because I also had a people-pleasing problem when I was younger. Back when I was in high school. So I'm gonna start from scratch, actually, all the way back to the beginning. So my parents, they immigrated from Nigeria. They didn't know much about U.S. culture, anything like that. So they did what they thought was best for my older brother and me at the time before my younger sister came along. So my father, he didn't have much growing up. He was very skinny because he couldn't get much food. So house was always stocked. The pantry was always full. Always, even when we were in New York, even when we were in Connecticut, before we moved to outside Philly, always had anything. I never had to worry about meals because my parents would break their backs to make sure I had something. Through that, I developed some gluttony. I got up to 380 pounds. So it was like going into high school, I just wanted people to like me because, like, I had a little bit of an accent. Like people knew I wasn't really like
All right,
from
but
here.
people can't see this. This dude is giant. He is like 6'5".
A little 6'7",
Who was
6'7". Who's counting?
You're 6'7"?
Yeah.
Oh
Back in
my
high school, bro,
gosh.
I was 6'4", 380. Now that was crazy.
6'7". I don't think I've ever met someone as tall as you.
Hey man, I got a duck for most doors. It is what it is. It's a blessing and a curse, but more of a blessing, honestly. Man, I just wanted to be liked in high school. I just did anything to not be bullied. I had like a class clown syndrome.
Mhm.
And the thing was, that didn't fill the void that was deep inside me. It really just made it bigger because I realized that no matter how much I acted out or how much I did, no one would ever invite me back to their place. No one would invite me to a party or anything like that. So I'd take these emotions, I would take them home, and I'd just go to my room because I'd feel like I couldn't talk to my parents about it because they're from Nigeria. In Africa, mental health discussions, they're like 200 years behind.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you say you're depressed, they'll kill you, like stuff like that. So like, or just pray it away. We're not going to actually take any actionable steps to helping you for illness. So I didn't feel like I could talk about anything at home. So it's like I become a punchy bag at school, come back, be a punching bag at home, and just keep everything to myself. And I guess where I'm going with that is we should be more attentive to realizing that our parents love us and that they really just want to see the best for us and that they will try their best to understand whatever we're going through.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so interesting how different our upbringings were just in terms of our parents. But one thing I certainly resonate with you is just like in school, in high school, I I was the brown kid, I was the immigrant kid. And especially in the start, the first 2 years of high school, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I never have, and that's just because of my own Islamic values, the way my parents raised me. But I think in high school, you want to be invited to things, you want to be invited to the parties. In high
Everyone
school,
just wants to be loved.
you think in high school that is your world. You think that is it. That's where life starts and that's where life ends. Being cool in high school. And I remember just like I'd be in class and I just like it was like math class, like algebra, and I'd just be thinking like, damn, I wish someone would like invite me after school. Like, I wish someone would invite me to the hangout before the football game. I wish someone would invite me to that. And I had great friends who eventually did and who helped me. And I also had people who ignored me for the first 2 years, especially, and that sucked. Even till senior year, I had people, I don't want Emaad to come. I don't want this. But the crazy thing about that is high school is not the end of your life because those individuals are the same individuals today who talk to me entirely differently, look at me entirely differently. The rules are not like that anymore. The respect is so much greater, so much. It's just, and it sucks that I had to prove that. It sucks that I had to go out and I had to work to like, you should respect me as a human being now. It sucks that that's how it had to be. That breaks my heart that that's how it had to be.
I feel the same thing because like I said, I was 6'4", 380 when COVID first hit. I lost 150 pounds. And I did it so that people could respect me. I didn't do it to better my health or to lengthen my lifespan or anything like that. I did it because I wanted people to look at me like I was a human being and not look at me like I was just some fat guy who was sitting on the sidelines,
Yeah. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to fit in. Everyone just wants to feel a touch of love. Maybe it's a void from what they get at home versus what they don't get at home. Maybe it's just a simple want, But I think high school is such an incredible world. If anyone's in, it's not where the world ends. Like when I came to college, one of the first things I realized is like I made friends because they liked me for me, not because we were in the same classes together, not because our parents knew each other, because they were like, I like your personality or you're funny. Jared Bloom, my roommate in Johnstown, he's works with us in the organization now. Great guy. That's one of the first times I realized like this kid likes me for me, like not because of anything else. He likes me genuinely because of who I am. And that was just incredible. I was very fortunate. So I come from like a Pakistani immigrant background, and Pakistani immigrant parents are usually very not understanding of men. It's just same as you said, it's very
Just things operate
anxiety is
differently
not
over
real.
there.
Anxiety
Yeah.
is not real. Mental health is not real. I don't know what my parents were fed as children. My parents are not like that at all. Like my parents are the most, I can tell anything. My parents know every aspect of my life. They know every single thing about me. And I can share anything with them. We have the most beautiful, wonderful relationship in terms of if something is wrong, that's the first people I go to. There's no one else I go to. They don't judge me. They never were the strictest parents in the world. Like, be home at 8 p.m. Do not do this. Do not do this. My dad sat down with me and he's like, hey, these are our values like in our religion. And this is why you shouldn't drink, or this is why you shouldn't smoke, or this is what these things could lead to, He's telling me at the end of the day, I can't stop you. You're going to do whatever you want to do. I can't stop you.
I think that's the best way to do it. They didn't have to grab your ear, but instead they gave you the full picture.
Yeah.
So it's like you made the decision more for yourself than because of fear of what they would do.
Yeah, 100%. And that has helped me so much in terms of where my life has gone. I think that has made me and my siblings into just incredible individuals where my parents don't even have my parents know that the way that they raised us is so, like, they didn't make it wherever the first sense of freedom you experience is your first foot in college. We had freedom. I had freedom. I had freedom in high school. But what my mistakes helped me develop is a sense of morals, a sense of values, and a sense of this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is where my life stands. So I think that's just overall super important to have. And then especially just in terms of mental health, we don't have a perfect family. People in our family struggle with mental health. I struggle with mental health. I have
Everyone does.
terrible anxiety, terrible, severe diagnosed anxiety. But it's a battle every single day. It's a battle going to bed when you feel like your heart's about to pound out of your chest. It's a battle getting up when you feel like your heart's about to pound out of your chest. But you just keep fighting. You keep fighting every single day. Like I said, like when it comes to letting anyone tell you to stop or not do what you want to. It's the same thing when it goes to anxiety. You cannot let that voice in your head win. That voice is terrible. It will stop. It will do anything it can to make sure you don't get what you need to get or what you want to get done. But I think having healthy practices, talking to the right people, talking is so, especially for men, just men's mental health and just talking to individuals and having a connection, just sharing that with someone, having someone understand you. Yeah, like I cry. I don't
We
care
all
about that.
cry.
Yeah, I think there's such a stigma behind crying. It's like,
I'd cry on camera if I could, but
something needs to happen. Not right now. But yeah, like I cry. Like it's just, it sucks. Like I was telling you, whenever this organization came to be, I was in the worst mental health stage of my entire life. That sucked. That was terrible. Every single day, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything.
But life gets better.
Yeah, you find things that you believe in, whether that's a religion, whether that's people. Eventually, the goal isn't, I need to make it to 3 months. It's, I need to make it to tomorrow. I need to make it to tomorrow. I need to make it to tomorrow. And just improve 1% every single. If you can improve 1% every single day, compounds.
It does, man. I just think it's interesting how it's like your family, you could talk about anything. My family, I didn't talk to my family, but we still came to the exact same place where we're emotionally intelligent, empathetic individuals. Yeah. I just think it's interesting how no matter what journey you take to get there, you can still get there.
Yeah. At the end, it requires hard work. So every single thing, whether it's a relationship, friendship, family, bonds, it all requires hard work. There's times wherever it's not going to work out the way you want it to, and it's very unfortunate. But that's not a reason to stop. You keep going. Every single day you get up and you keep going. You don't let anything stop. Anyone words your own mind. Don't let anyone stop you. At the end of the day, everyone in their conscious has dreams, knows what they want to do, and has ambitions. There's not anyone who doesn't. People might be disconnected from that. People might be like, oh, like I want X, I want this. But I don't think I can reach it, so I'm just not going to think about it. You know what I mean? I know my brother does that.
You calling out your brother crazy.
Yeah. But you can just tell. I think that's the most important aspect.
I don't know how anybody watching or listening to this isn't jumping out of their seat from this motivation, man. That's crazy. But as we're coming close to wrapping this
I have to
episode
give you
up,
my third lesson.
yeah, I was
at some
going to
point.
say, we did say 3. We did say after the break, you give the third lesson. So lay it on us.
I had it like 2 seconds ago.
Hey, man, it's no pressure. No pressure.
It is pressure right now.
Hey, I mean, wait. I mean, I feel like when we were talking about the mental health, when we were talking about just making it to the next day, that's where the starting of a
Yeah.
lesson right there. Just make it to the next day. You don't have to look at the big picture. You don't have to think, I need to be here in 5 years. I need to be here in 10 years. You just had to work towards making it to the next day. You don't even need to have goals in mind. Really, your goal can just be rolling out of bed. Your goal can be making food. Your goal can be going to the gym to work out.
Mhm.
It's not even about the end goal of, oh, I want to be jacked. Oh, I want to be famous or something. It's really just about making it through life.
Yeah, I think it's just don't be afraid to be different. Like in any aspect of life, do not be afraid to be different. Different is good. Different is powerful. Different will change your life. There should be no shame in being different. I know my third lesson.
That's a good third
I-
lesson, man.
I have another third lesson.
Oh, you have another third
Yeah,
lesson.
are you
You're
ready?
dropping the wisdom on us,
How
man.
am Okay. I think us as children, we're in such a competitive space in college and everything. I think it is so important to realize we don't know everything. I think it is okay to say, I don't know to a question. I think when someone puts you on the spot and saying, I don't know the answer, you don't have to come up with an answer. It's okay to not know and have that willingness in you to learn. There are people in this world that are smarter than you, and you have to realize that. At the end of the day, there's people who are smarter than you, better looking than you, more confident
I
than
don't
you.
know about how
You
many
can't-
people better looking than you, man.
Oh my God.
Think that's you, bro.
But you can't let that stop you. There will always be that spectrum of individuals. There's will always become, and you cannot let yourself be limited to thinking, I know what's right. I know how to do this. Seek insight. Look for more intelligent people to help you, to mentor you. I think that Dr. Mike, I don't know if you know about him. He's on YouTube.
I don't.
Great individual. He talks about this, the I don't know phenomena, or the know-it-all phenomena or something. And he basically emphasizes that it is so important to recognize it is completely fine. If you ask me a question right now, if it's knowledge based, I should be able to put my ego aside and be like, hey, I don't know the answer to this. I'm not fully sure on this.
That's where we have some of the most growth, honestly, because just learning from people who have been around longer, who just know more than you, and putting your ego to the side is really how you grow,
And growth comes from uncomfort. It comes from so much uncomfort and so much struggle, and then so many insecurities about yourself, and just battling those. And then just to loop it back, it all has an impact on your mental health. At the end of the day, we have to make sure we are participating in the correct strategies, we're talking to the right sources, we're talking to people who we value. Don't ever take advice from someone who you wouldn't. Oh, I forgot the quote. It was almost inspirational.
I get what
You
you're
know which
saying,
one I'm
though.
talking
I
about.
get what you're saying, though.
But yeah, it's just developing healthy coping habits, healthy mechanisms is so important, so overall important. And I think that's one of the things that Spread the Love Project helps me with, just knowing that I'm doing something good, knowing that we are making a tangible impact in someone's life, knowing that there is a pool of donors supporting us, knowing that no matter who tries to tear us down, no matter who tries to say negative things about us, they can't stop us because I'm behind it. I'm not stopping. I can say that today. I can say that tomorrow. I'm not stopping. And to, at the end of the day, use that, use what I've learned from this organization to help and motivate others. My first priority is my siblings. I want to put them in a good spot in life. I want to help and motivate them. And I think times there's individuals, there's emails I'll get or messages I'll get about just like what I've done to motivate someone else. And I think that's one of the things that was like at first very eye-opening for me, because I was like, My friends didn't even want me at that at that get together in
wanted you in high
eighth and
school,
ninth
man.
grade. What do you mean I motivate? Yeah. With all of that comes a lot of humility. You have to be humble. You know, when you have influence over younger generations, your siblings, and there are people that you help and you motivate and you inspire. You have to have a sense of humility, and you have to ground yourself, and you have to surround yourself with people who will ground you. That's very important. That's keeps your mental health in check, keeps your life in check. But at the end of the day, pursue whatever you think you can pursue.
Amen. Let me say this. I think that throughout this entire episode, I've come out a much more enlightened individual. I will say one thing, though. One thing that I specifically learned from talking to you about Spread the Love, about your upbringing, is that I feel like we live in a perfectionist society where we don't talk about our struggles. We don't talk about the grind. A lot of people just expect that all these things come easy and that they're instant. But there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that nobody will ever know about. And I think it's beautiful, both through Spread the Love and through the lessons that you shared, just how that shows in your life.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think everyone, if they learn one thing from this, is like their pursuit, like I said, whatever you want to pursue, don't let anything stop you. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself while you're doing it. That's hard.
That is hard.
Everything doesn't have to come at once. That's a lesson I've learned myself. You don't have to go super fast. You don't have to accomplish every single thing. And there is times you're going to fail. You're going to fail all the time. You're going to fail, and life is going to slap you left and right in the face. It's not about that. Those are all lessons. You get back up and you keep going. You keep going. It's just that simple, you know?
But that brings us to the end of this episode of the Let's Talk Social Innovation podcast. Again, I'll remind you, my amazing guest, Emaad Khan of Spread the Love Project. You can find out more about their project in the link of the description of this episode on YouTube or anywhere on any audio platform this is on. But this is Ian Kahende signing off.